All right. Well, I have an update finally for you. The HVAC folks showed up, and the very short version is they added refrigerant, and that has increased the temperature drop from the cassettes, meaning that the temperature going in, which is right now 72.5, versus the temperature coming out, in my case, that's 52.2, was originally reading 13.7 according to their instrumentation. You can see there's almost exactly a 20-degree difference here. With their instrumentation, they got it between 19 and 22, depending on when you were looking at it and what cycle the system was in at that particular moment. So, yes, adding refrigerant. Now, whether that was the result of the upgrade from the 9K unit to the 12K unit and not sufficiently adding refrigerant during the install, or whether I have a leak, is yet to be known. So I will obviously be keeping an eye on this. But it's good news as far as my ability to keep the temperatures in here under much better control. So let's take a look at, so we're channel 1 is the intake on the cassette, channel 4 is the output of the cassette, channel 2 is the actual outdoor temperature, which would also be the same as the temperature of the air going into the outdoor unit. I don't have anything of note on channel 3 or 5 here for what I'm talking about today. So channel 1 is red, so you can see the red line. Now this is the living room. You can see the red line was up here and then it dropped here. And that is the same time as when the refrigerant was added. You can, I installed these thermometers at their locations right around here, and you can see the temperature of the yellow one, dropped when I installed it. He did his refrigerant thing. You can see a dip in the temperature, the red line, the temperature going in, and you can see a dip here, before and after. So you can see there's a pretty big change in the temperature differential that I was having. So if you just kind of look at the distance between the red line and the yellow line here versus here, much bigger difference here. You can ignore the yellow line here. I had to remove and reinstall my temperature sensor, which I did here. So put it back here. Look, there's even a bigger temperature differential here a little later in the day. The outdoor temperature has been dropping. Its peak, channel 2 is green, its peak was right around here at approximately 95 degrees. So I was maintaining an interior temperature of 74. Normally this red line would have crept up, but we worked on it early enough in the day. It had already crept up to 74. We added some refrigerant and I held 74 for the entire day. And there's some fluctuations here because I've turned on jet cool, which sets the fan higher and things like that, so the temperature drop won't be as high when you do something like that. But I'm still having a 20-degree temperature drop now, 88 outside. The inside of the RV is now close to 73, at least at the cassette. And if I look at the remote, which is set to 65, it says it's 74 in here, so it's probably on the verge of being 73. But a lot more comfortable than I would have been. And the other thing that I noticed, and it's not depicted on this graph here, the bedroom, which I had set to 69 when they showed up, after he added the refrigerant, the bedroom actually did what they call satisfied, meaning it reached a set point temperature that caused it to stop calling for cooling altogether. The bedroom reached 67 degrees, and it was about 90 degrees outside at that point in time. I have never seen that happen. So that was pretty exciting to see the bedroom actually get that cold and shut down, and just leaving the living room to try and cool itself. So that said, the fact that I'm still holding 74, that even with this remote set for 65 and I'm still 74 in here, the sun is down. I don't have any sun hitting the RV anymore. The sun sets about here, so I got a lot of sunlight here. What I'm going to do, because I don't have any awnings on here yet, I'm still owed awnings by New Horizons. I am looking into some essentially tinting or reflective heat film something. I've got a question out to Gila, Gila, for what I should be using on these windows. These are dual pane windows, but they're not low E. In other words, they're not coated with anything that reflects UV rays, and they're frameless. So you're normally supposed to install tinting on the inside, but I really don't want to do that for a number of reasons. One, it would be very difficult to get the cutout exactly correct due to the way these windows are physically laid out. But because they're frameless, the glass actually goes past the metal casing all the way around. And I feel like I need to coat or cover the entire outside of the glass so that I don't transmit heat to the metal frame from the outside. So I know I've asked the company to see what they have to say as far as recommending what to do. You have to be careful about where you install film, because if you put it on the wrong side, certain kinds of film and certain kinds of windows and certain kinds of this, that, and the other thing, you can cause premature degradation of seals, especially with dual pane windows. In this case, these are tempered glass, so they're not going to crack. But if they weren't tempered glass, like I say in a residential setting, you can actually cause your glass to crack and break if you put the film on the wrong side and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, it's a little bit more complicated than you would think. I did buy a kit, and then as I researched what to do, I'm not sure that's what I want to use, so I'm just going to wait to see. But hopefully adding some UV protection there will help a lot, because these windows and the frames get to like 130 degrees, and the valences then read about 95 degrees. So I have a lot of heat coming in there. So I would like to see how much more I can sort of reduce my heat ingress from that. I also don't have any slide toppers above here. I don't know how much that's really playing a role into how much heat is coming in. The roof tends to read somewhere in the low to mid 90s, the ceiling rather of the slide out, which is hotter than the wall here or the main ceiling. So anyway, lots of continued investigation as far as how to get my temperature comfortable, and reducing the amount of heat ingress not only means I'm going to be more comfortable inside, it means I'm going to be using less energy, which is important, because you can see that I'm already at 57 degrees. It's actually 8:32. I haven't set the time zone on this thing yet. But last night the battery got down to 50-something%. I forget the exact number. And today it only got up to about 72%, and I'm already down to 57%. So there's actually a pretty good chance that I'm going to have to plug in tonight because I'm just using so much power for air conditioning in this kind of weather. Note that this 95-degree weather that I had today is quite different from the 95 or 100-degree weather that I had in the Badlands. I'm in Kansas now, and so the humidity is way higher here. It's pretty oppressive. The heat index was 106 or 108 today. So, all right, well, that's it for my current update. And if I have new developments, like if the window tinting, I'll put an update on that regardless whether it helps or not. And if I end up with any new discoveries on the air conditioning, I will certainly cover that as well. So thought I'd want you to know. All right, that's it, folks. Stay safe, stay positive, and have a good time. Check you later.